We've talked about the popular anime, we've talked about the new anime, but now we gotta talk about the underrated anime. It's time to go digging, people, and uncover those great underrated anime that always seem to fall through the cracks every single year. The shows that never get their just due, whether it's due to bad timing, competition, or bad luck. I'm talking about shows like The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague, Undead Murder Farce, Tomo-chan is a Girl. There are so many great anime out there that I'm sure I missed someone's favorite. Auto mention to Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Sometimes you just want to watch a show with no real stakes on the line. And while Bofuri is an isekai, which some of you will immediately scoff at and lose interest, I just want to let you know that the show is so much fun. With its second season dropping at the start of 2023, we saw Maple continue her adventures in the game New World Online with her Maple Tree Guild. While I was let down by the fact that Maple Tree did not add any new members during the second season, I did like that we got to see more of the other guilds. Also, I'm fascinated by the game developers and how they keep reacting to Maple continually breaking their game.
My foot, my shoulders, my shoulders, my arms. I can't even raise it. Oh my god, if it doesn't break, oh my god.
By the way, I'm sure you guys have seen the similarities to SAO, and Bofuri is basically a fun SAO. So check it out when you have a chance. I just dropped a nugget of gold for y'all, but what other hidden gems were we able to dig up?
For my hidden gems, I chose Why Raeliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion. I honestly can't believe there wasn't more hype over this one, because it was fantastic. Finally, a Korean webtoon done right.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
It's a romance, a fantasy, a thriller, an isekai, but like, not your normal isekai. The main character dies, but is reincarnated into one of her favorite books as the side character, Raeliana, who dies to serve as a reason for the two main love interests to meet. But, knowing the plot of the book, she takes matters into her own hands to try to avoid dying for a second time and pushes herself into the love interest role with the Duke. She uses her knowledge from reading the book as leverage and to try to help keep herself alive, while also hoping the real main character doesn't show up. It's a fresh take on the isekai genre, and on top of that, it's a great romance. Definitely in my top 5 of the year, and I'd rate it a 10 out of 10.
I don't think I have the right words to describe my emotions when I heard Horimiya was getting a second season. For those of you in the know, I love Horimiya. It's one of my favorite anime series of all time. So after season 1 ended, I was pretty sure that would be it for the series. However, I am so happy that I was wrong. I wouldn't classify this new season, so to speak, as a season in a proper definition, but I think this may be something that other slice of life series could look to implement in the future. Horimiya, The Missing Pieces, is just as it says. It's a season filled with all the side stories and other things that just couldn't make it into the official anime. We got to see our main couple, Hori and Miyamura, and all the main side characters as well, plus a few other characters from different parts of the Horimiya timeline. Like for example, the class trip in the first episode, which takes place after Miyamura became friends with Hori and a gang, but not before he confesses his feelings. You get to see them bond a little bit, plus the romantic tension between them was so adorable. The missing pieces hit all the notes that make Horimiya great. I finished every single episode with a smile on my face, and I love how the show tackles those serious teen issues: social anxiety, bullying, communication in a relationship, even jealousy and family dynamics, just to name a few. I just want to ask for one thing. I really don't want Horimiya to end. So can we please get a sequel series following Ishikawa and Yoshikawa in college? I would want a lot of cameos from Ori and Miyamura, obviously, but I would love to see all the other side characters come back, except for Yasuda. We cool on him. I'm telling you, it would sell like hotcakes.
My selection for the hidden gem is the Eminence in Shadow. So season 1, I think a lot of people slept on initially, and then it began to gain popularity through word of mouth. But Seig Kagano and his story of becoming Shadow and becoming the Eminence in Shadow, the leader of Shadow Guard, a whole new door opening for the isekai genre to look into, take notes. As a protagonist, he's just completely different than a lot of the isekai stories that we're used to. I still don't know if he's going to end up being a deity that can literally change the fabric of time and space and be able to do these sorts of things, or if he just got hit by that truck and he's in a coma daydreaming. Where were the writers when they were coming up with these ideas? Like, what is inspiring this? I was incredibly impressed with season 2, holding down what season 1 had already laid the foundation for. Looking forward to seeing exactly what happens in season 3, or the next installment, which I believe is going to be a movie. I'm just looking forward to seeing what comes next.
With all the praise we've been dishing out in this video, you'd think 2023 was just filled with great anime all over the place, and while that may be kind of true, we are also here to be objective. This is the part of video where we shine a light on all the bad anime of 2023. The disappointments, if you will. My Home Hero, FLCL Grunge, and In Another World with My Smartphone. Why did I even watch this? I could go on and on. All these anime had so much hype and anticipation only to let fans down.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
A dishonorable mention to the aristocrat's otherworldly adventure. The story follows Kazuya Shina as he dies defending 2 girls as they were about to be attacked by a guy wielding a knife. He is then reincarnated as Kane von Silford with all of his memories from his previous life. Look, you've already seen this before, especially if you're a veteran of the isekai genre. What really disappointed me about this anime is how overly generic the series actually is. Of course, the MC is completely overpowered and he has a harem that includes the country's princess, the country's duke's daughter, and dukes are like the second level below the royal family, and the strongest warrior in the kingdom, who is a busty elf. Did I also forget to mention that he did all of this plus low-key saved the world a couple times by the time he was like 12? He's also engaged to all of them as well. The story was also presented like it was a Saturday morning cartoon, and while I'm not saying the story should be as dark as like ReZero, you shouldn't misrepresent it as well. But maybe I'm just asking too much here. After watching the anime, I sat there wondering what even got me to read the manga and enjoy the series as much as I had in the first place. And then I realized it was a story. You see, Kazuya, aka Kane, was chosen for a reason. It wasn't just his good deeds. He was also tasked by the gods to raise the level of the world as it is woefully underdeveloped. And there is also a rogue god who is about to be released from his seal. The story was intriguing enough to catch my eye, but unfortunately the anime dashed whatever hopes I had. Let me get this straight though, I'm not saying this is going to be a great isekai. It really will not. but it touched on a few things I really like. You know, I love a little bit of kingdom building. I love an overpowered character. I can make or do the harm unless you make it work. That's probably why I love the Eminence in Shadow as much as I actually do. But before I drown myself in more misery than I already will be in the next 2 sections of this series, what other anime really let us down this year?
Now for the disappointments. The newcomer disappointment, I have 2.
Yeah, double homicide. Bitch. No, I'm sorry.
So the newcomer disappointment that I have is Reincarnated as a Vending Machine. I didn't really have any expectation of it being good, I'll be honest. And the first episode almost sets the stage for this might be an okay show. The downside is the show never gets better than the first episode. It stays the same, if not getting a little bit worse, and I fell off of it very quickly. With the reincarnated into an inanimate object, we had reincarnated as a sword, which was absolutely phenomenal. It blew away my expectations. I didn't really expect for a show where somebody's reincarnated into an inanimate object to draw me in so much, but it did. Whereas reincarnated as a vending machine, reborn as a vending machine rather, did not do that. It did not capitalize. I was thoroughly underwhelmed. Now, as far as a disappointment for a returning show, it's The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Almost done.
I can't wait to get out of here.
There.
Is it normal?
Yes, it looks real good. Looks real good. Looks just fine to me. How about you, doctor?
Oh, I'll take it from here, nurse.
I'm not even going to let the opening breathe on this one because I have things to say. I've never hated my love for The Rising of the Shield Hero. It was my gateway anime, what got me into the anime space and enjoying everything that anime has to offer. But just because I love this series, that doesn't mean I am not going to be objective.
I'm sorry, little one.
Now I have to be honest. Was season 3 better than season 2?
Yes, but
Season 2 was a dumpster fire that should serve as a lesson of what not to do for the rest of the anime industry. Hell, I still want to make a video about that travesty of a season, but I don't need that kind of stress in my life. Now that I've admitted that season 3 was a step in the right direction, is the series back in my good graces?
No, God, no.
While the story was cleaned up, my problems with the anime still persist. The animation quality is still a concern of mine, character depictions are still bad, and the story, while cleaned up, is still bad.
No, I had a reason. I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
I don't need to explain myself to you. And
What was the reason?
To be honest, I think if the anime moved Naofumi's trek to the other world at the end of season 2 or halfway through season 2 to after the events of season 3, the story would flow better in my opinion, but that just may be wishful thinking on my part. After the tragedy of season 2, The Rising of the Shield Hero had to knock it out the park with season 3, and they did not. Ironically, despite all these bad things that I've said, a 4th season for the series was announced back in January. So once again, the series has another chance to potentially get back in the anime world's good graces.
oh shit, here we go again.
However, the stench from whatever season 2 was will follow this series for a long time. In fact, it will never leave it. So let's hope they figure it out in season 4. Please figure it out, because I want to enjoy this series again.
自分を押し殺さないで本当の気持ちに気づいて風も
my disappointment anime, I chose Kingdoms of Ruin. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think it's worth watching, it's just not as good as it started out to be, and the story takes a strange turn. I started it thinking it would be in my top 3, but it's definitely not even close.
I let you down.
The story's about Adonis, a human who was an apprentice to the greatest witch of all time, Chloe. Mankind attempts to wipe out all the witches and kills Chloe. And as you can imagine, Adonis wants revenge. And the story kind of revolves around Adonis wanting revenge. And the first few episodes are absolutely freaking fantastic.
Yes! 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 Yes!
But it falls off hard after it seems to stray away from the dark anime aspect it started out as.
No! 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 Fuck! Shit!
I'm not gonna lie, I still haven't even finished it because it started getting really hard to follow and it's kind of lost me, but the animation is really nice and it's good enough that I'll eventually finish it, but it's like a watch when you have nothing else to watch kind of anime. I'd give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
消えるまで